Dolphins thirsty, they never show no mercy. On the field or in the game, Miami knows how to play. Dolphins thirsty, we all get down and dirty. Tell you what you wanna know, it's the Dolphins Show. Quench your thirst for all things Miami Dolphins. They are the football kings, cause they play to win. Come on in and have some fun, whether we have lost or we have won. For all things Miami, it's Dolphins Thursday.
Good morning, Miami Dolphin fans, on this throwback Thursday on Dolphins Thursday. I hope everyone is ready for some Miami Dolphins talk. It is a Thursday. NFL drafts are held on a Thursday. So 2 weeks, just 2 weeks from tonight, our Miami Dolphins will finally be on the clock and we will see what they can do. It's been a long time since the Miami Dolphins had a first round pick. So it's nice to have a first round pick as we sit here on April 11th, 2024. Of course, things could change. I don't see it changing because we need those first round picks to supplement our roster with younger, cheaper talent to have future good years for our Miami Dolphins. As we all know, we're in the win now mode for right now, but you always got to start building for the future while you're winning, trying to win now. And that's what good teams do. Get a hint, Miami, become a good team, win some freaking playoff games, but still build for the future so you can sustain this. As that's all we want. That's all we ask for. Some good winning football on that end. If you guys are wondering, today's throwback Thursday guy I'm looking back is Jim Jensen. I don't know if any of you know his nickname or what college he went to, but if you guys know that, you are awesome. That's my question of the day. He had a well-known nickname back in the day. And what college did he go to? But anyway, guys, the draft is nearing, so we're going to focus a lot on the draft. I have not talked since my last show. We have done some signings and one signing, I should say, take the S off that. Yep, Kras Jensen, very good. Oh, and welcome back in the Bins podcast. I will bring up baseball for a second. Your Orioles are a really good ball club. My Red Sox need a little bit of help, but I still watch them just like I still watch my Dolphins. So, and Mr. Ribera, if I'm messing up your name, sorry. Yes, Kras was his nickname, and that's it. Since we last talked, and okay, guys, now it's down to what school he went to. And he wouldn't even be drafted today. He would be an undrafted free agent. He was drafted in the 11th round back in the day, the 11th round back when they had 12 rounds of the NFL draft. So since I last talked, because I took a couple of days off this week from talking, the Dolphins have signed T.R. Tart, a defensive tackle. Another list of more defensive tackles on the Dolphins. A lot of bodies in camp on the defensive tackle front. So we have that. He's played primarily, defensive tackle. He's a big guy. He's out of FIU, where I actually went to college. You can't say that too often. The FIU guys. I know we had the one receiver a few years ago that had a pretty good run in the NFL, but not too many. I went to FIU though even before they had a football team. That's how old I am. But he's 6'2", 304 pounds. He's played in 47 games, starting 36 of them between basically Tennessee, but he ended up in Houston at the end of last year, but didn't really make much of an impact. So he will come in, be able to compete on that. Again, we signed him. So that's the only big news since the last time. Hey, Steve and Adam, big fins up to you guys. Thank you for coming in. So today's show is basically going to focus on the draft. I'm going to talk about, I went around finding what people are mocking to the Miami Dolphins, because we all know what we think, and we do our own mock draft. We have fun. But I said, let me see what these guys that get paid, just see what they have to say. Not that they don't know the Dolphins like we know the Dolphins, but just an interesting take. So Mel Kiper, who's probably the king of all draft gurus by name, love him or hate him, he put the NFL draft on the map where fans really started loving the NFL draft. Like I said, you can hate his take, love his takes. End of the day, you got to agree the man was smart, created a business where there was no business, and I wish I would have thought of way back then because I was one of those geeks with the big blue Mel Kiper book for years. So I'm not going to mock him. Speaking of mock drafts, I'm not going to mock him. The man created it. He basically created a business. So kudos to you, Mel Kiper. And this is the 40th year anniversary of the draft being covered on TV, which shows I'm really becoming an old fart because I remember those early days when it was held on Tuesdays and I watched the NFL draft. But hey, it's all good. Michael K in the house. And yes, Michael K, I did read that your Buffalo Bills are going to let a fan make a pick, Michael K. They're not going to let them make a trade. They're not going to let them do anything that, but they're going to let them make a pick at some point in the draft. Still don't know if it's really for show and they'll be greatly influenced on who they take, but we will see on that. But welcome, Michael K, to the house, you Buffalo Bills fan. So, in Mel Kiper's latest mock draft, he has the Miami Dolphins taking Jared Verse, edge rusher, FSU. I haven't seen him fall that often to where the Dolphins pick. Makes sense because the Dolphins have two injured edge rushers coming off. Yes, we signed Barrett in the offseason, but we still have some unknown on the edge, whether you want to say edge, outside linebacker, defensive end, whatever you want to classify them as. Basically, the guys that get to the quarterback to keep it fun and simple. So he has us taking Jared Verts, Ed Russer, FSU, and his reasoning behind it was the simple fact that the Dolphins have, as I mentioned, Phillips and Chubb coming off of injury, and that this guy could be a good fit for the Miami Dolphins. He actually did a 2-round mock draft, and he had us taking a guard out of UConn. No, not the basketball team guard, a football player guard, Kristen Hayes, guard, UConn. That's who he has. So to recap, Mel Kiper's mock draft, Jared Verts, edge rusher, first round. Kristen Hayes, Haynes, guard, UConn. Yes. Rhett Lewis of NFL.com did a 1-round mock draft this week, and he has us also taking an edge rusher, but lay two edge rusher who we've talked a lot about on this channel, edge rusher UCLA. So he is another guy. So first two guys that came across had the Dolphins taken edge on their first round picks. Hey, Scotty. Oh, Scotty says Hayes at guard in the second is growing on me. So hey, there you go. Let's see. Now we're going to get to Lance Zerline. He again, edge being the pick. Chop Robinson, Penn State is his most recent mock draft pick for the Miami Dolphins. So it seems like the guys on the national level, they're probably just looking at the fact, because that's keeps on being the reasoning I see. He also mentions that Phillips and Chubbs are out. So he has the Miami Dolphins taking Chop Robinson. Don't worry, I only got a couple more guys, and we can do our own fun stuff. And then, well, actually, I only got one more guy. Tony Pauline, he did a 2-round mock draft covering both picks for the Miami Dolphins. And he also went to a basketball school for both of our picks, both the same well-known basketball school. I don't know how good they were this year, but overall, they're one of the powerhouses of basketball. Duke. He had us taking Graham Barton in the first round, and then who you guys we've talked about on the show. He's center / guard, whatever you want to call him, Duke, and he Graham Barton, he's been mocked to the Dolphins. Jeremiah, the guy Daniel Jeremiah on NFL Network also has him taken Graham Barton. So that's not that uncommon of a pick. Here though is the first time I've seen this name linked to the Miami Dolphins. Dwayne Carter, defensive tackle, Duke. So he has the Miami Dolphins going to Duke for 2 back-to-back picks. Has us to, and that's Tony Pauline, who's a respected name in the draft world. He's been doing it a long time, not maybe quite as long as Mel Kiper or whatever, but he's a big name out there. I followed Tony Pauline for a long time. He normally brings in some good stuff, so we will see. So there you go. UConn played a zone offense. He's the most ready plug and play, in my opinion, now. Well, you are on the same page as Mel Kiper. You know what's funny is that a lot of us going back to the guard slash center position, if you want to say interior offensive lineman, I've seen Jackson Powers Johnson falling in some of these drafts. In the beginning of his first, right after the process, he was like shooting up the boards. Now I see him falling down again. These are mock drafts. They end up making a mockery of all of us. But I see some drafts where he never falls to 55, Jackson Powers, but I've seen him fall into the second round there. I don't know if it's injury concerns or people don't put as much weight on interior offensive linemen as they do the tackles and other positions. Who knows? But I have been seeing a slight fall from him in some of the drafts. Still high in a lot, but more and more are having him slip down the draft board, which is just shows that this time of year things are fluid. They change all the time. You really never know, and we definitely don't know what the Dolphins are thinking because we're all talking edge, offensive lineman, maybe a third receiver, and then they go draft a cornerback, and it is what it is. We really don't know. But as of now, to me, it's looking like more and more offensive linemen or edge. We will see on that front. This is what Tony Pauline had to say about Dwayne Carter, defensive tackle group. He says he's best at 3 tech, but can handle 1 tech or even 5 tech duties. But his best stats have come and best numbers have come as a 3 tech because he knows how he lines up on the weak side while someone else takes up the double team and he produces when that happens. So there you go. That's his reasoning on he thinks he can actually make not just be a good run guy, someone taking up blocks, but he can move to the other side and actually generate some pass rush moving forward. He's a knock on him, he says, is that he'll be 24 once the NFL season rolls around. He's going to turn 24 at some point. He's a 5th-year redshirt senior, but Dwayne Carter, Tony Pauline has the Dolphins going Blue Devils back-to-back picks in the 2024 NFL draft. As it stands now, Miami still just has very limited number of picks. That can change on draft night, probably at this point would be your best bet. Hope some team falls in love with a guy that's sitting there at 21 and the team just is willing to give up a lot to move up to get their guy, and that we have a few guys we like on that end. And there was like some other ones I can get into later. I just didn't get to do all the mocks. There was a lot of them. There are a lot of them now, and they're starting to come out a lot, of course, as we're sitting here 2 weeks away from our draft. So it's coming great. He says Barton is fool's gold, in my opinion. Jack of all trades, master of none. He won't be successful at OT in the NFL. He really is a guard-only prospect with the ability to maybe back up your center. Hey, good morning to you as well, G-Man. Big fins up to you. Thank you for rolling in here this morning. And then there was some, man, I didn't write that one down. Go figure. But someone had us trading down in the first round to the 49ers, but they just had us taking an edge. Oh, no, actually that's the Chop Robinson pick. I just didn't write the trade. He had us trading down, getting Chop Robinson, and he had the 49ers trading up to that pick, noting like the connection between the Dolphins and 49ers organization. So there you go on that. So that was that pick. I just didn't write it down now I think about it. So as far as Tart, like I say, he's a big dude, man. So maybe he can come in and compete. But again, we got a long list. Let me go back to my earlier notes from earlier shows. It's just so many defensive tackles that we got in camp that it's crazy. We got Neville Gallimore, Jonathan Harris, Benito Jones, Isaiah Mack, Devonlian Nixon. And then now we added, on top of that, we've added, of course, because those are my old notes, and now we added Tart. So we will see on that front. My last mock with no trade, Latham, Legger, in term all day, every day. Yes, I think we had that. I remember last week, Scotty, on the show. I think how that's how it fell too. We got a couple of those people, man. So that was good here, man. That, like I said, do I think that's really going to happen? And that's probably not. But I think that's how our mock draft fell on here. But you do see things changing a little bit on that front right there. So we will see. Yes, yes, it was. So yes, it was. I thought you did it too, though, and I was going to say, oh, so maybe it is keep on falling like that. But hell, that would be a heck of a draft for sure. And then, what else was I going to cover? Oh yes, Barry Jackson had a whole bunch of possible second round targets for our Miami. Very good piece if you guys get the Miami Herald online. He had a whole bunch of good guys on that. Kansas City, ESPN, Matt Miller, according to Barry Jackson's article, he kind of did what I was doing a game plan. I said, "Oh, I'm going to use some cheat notes from Mr. Barry Jackson," but I believe in giving credit. So this is from Barry Jackson. He says Kansas City's Cooper Beebe is who ESPN's Matt Miller mocked to Miami at 55 in his first mock draft. But Noun has him at 57. Miller says the pick makes sense because Connor Williams and Rob Hunt aren't on the team anymore. And it's a near lock that the Dolphins will add a guard or center early in the draft. BB played left guard at an expert level for Kansas State. But there has been chatter about his potential at center. His movement ability in the run game just happens to be a perfect fit for Mike McDaniel's offense. Kuiper, hey, I spoke of Kuiper. Let's see what he has. Kuiper has BB at 60 at the 62nd pick, noting he's my sixth ranked guard. He has short arms for his 6'3" frame. So, and he's played 48 games in college. Played every position except center, where he worked in at practice and yielded just 3 sacks. So there are some other names there. And let's see, I already covered Krista Hayes, Cooper Beebe. Who else do we have here? Oh, Washington's Roger Rosengarten played almost 2,000 snaps at right tackle the past 2 seasons and didn't allow a sack, but it's highly questionable if he would be there at 55. Kuiper mocks him 31st in his mock draft this week. Miller mocks him 44th. So there you go. Those are some other names. West Virginia. Yes, Scotty. West Virginia, Jack Frazier. Miller mocked him to Miami at 55 in his second mock draft, adding Frazier is a top 32 prospect on my board, but teams aren't in a hurry to prioritize centers in the draft yet. The 4-year starter was a state wrestling champion in high school, and he is a perfect fit for Mike McDaniel's zone offense that needs mobility in the middle of the offensive line. Plus, Frazier has the tools to start at guard or center. And Mel Kiper has him going 57th in his latest mock draft, a couple picks after the Dolphins, meaning that he could be in range of the Dolphins there. So there you go, Scotty, a little West Virginia love for you. Other possible second round picks for the Dolphins. Barry Jackson's article basically focusing on the offensive lineman and guard for the most part. It seems. I mean, wide receiver and guards and interior linemen. tends to have going here. Hey, Flavor J, boom. Thank you for rolling in here this morning. Hit those thumbs up because you guys get thumbs up from me all the time, every time. So I appreciate it. But big fins up to you, Flavor J. Loving this. Yes, Brewer is playing center. I think funny how many fans still want Brewer to draft center and move Brewer to his weak position. Brewer need to draft a guard, not center. Yes, Scotty, I agree on that front that I think Brewer is the center. He's played both in his NFL career, but last year he played the whole season at center, and it was probably one of his better years. So I agree with you there. I'm just going by all these things. But yeah, I agree that guard, to me, I think we got our center. And then, we can got guard. But your guy, Zach Frazier, supposedly, he might, even though he's been a center, he could probably play guard. But again, then you're asking a young guy to come in and play a new position in the NFL, but he has the tools to do so. So you could have that. And if nothing else, you got a damn good backup. So I'm not hating on your guy there. Offensive tackle out of Houston, Patrick Paul. He started 39 games at left tackle for the Cougars. Miller saw him going 40. Paul, he has a legendary wingspan of 86 and a quarter inches and enough speed at 6'7" and 331 pounds to run a 5.13 in the 40. He is raw, but NFL offensive line coaches I've talked to are in love with his tools and want a chance to develop his trait. Well, Dolphins, they need whoever they draft at this spot, they don't be needing to develop. They need a guy to come in and play right away. So we do have that fact. Hey, Anthony. Anthony says, honestly, I think we draft Zach Frazier. He played guard and center. So when we're done with the contract with Brewer, we move Zach Frazier to center. I'd like, and I'm not just saying it because Scotty's in the room. I actually like, he actually turned me on months ago. So I started watching him some and looking at his game and then reading a lot about him. The guy is really good. And the correlation that he's a wrestler on top of it, and a state champion caliber wrestler on top of that. Good stuff. And if he can play guard, I think that would be a good move, Anthony. So I'm with you on that front. Let's see some other names. This is just all fun. This is all from Barry Jackson. And we will say, he goes, further information, Oregon guard Jackson Power Johnson linked repeatedly to Miami at number 21 in January and February mock draft, slipped all the way to 47th that's what I've been seeing too, and I didn't even see this part in the article, all the way to 47th in Kuiper's mock draft released Wednesday. So he cannot be ruled out at 55. Wide receivers to keep an eye on, according to Barry Jackson. Again, kudos to him. Always give kudos, guys. Michigan's Roman Wilson, a quarter of his 48 catches went for TDs last season. Beyond the 12 touchdowns, the 6 foot on the nose, 6'0", Wilson had 769 receiving yards and has some experience as a kick returner. Kuiper has him going 49th, adding Wilson moved up my rankings after he ran a 4.3940 at the combine. He ran away from defenders when you watch people on tape, but I wasn't totally sure how he tested above my expectations. Washington's Jalen. Hey, Jalen, that might be a possibility, guys. Washington's Jalen McMillian. Oh, and injuries limited him a bit last season. He caught 45 passes for 559 yards after catching 79 the previous season for 9 TDs. He's a dynamic slot receiver, said Kuiper, who mocks him going 51st. North Carolina's Devontae Walker. Miller has him going 53rd in Miami's wheelhouse. Kuiper doesn't have him in the first 2 rounds. Walker has great power in his route tree and ability to run through contact both before and after the catch, Miller said. He has an upside to develop into a top 2 wideout over the course of his rookie deal. In just 8 games in 2023, Walker caught 7 touchdowns on 41 receptions. Here comes the Florida Gator getting some love, where my son happens to attend. Florida's Ricky Parasol, he played 3 years at Arizona State and the past 2 at Florida. He blossomed last season with 65 catches, 965 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Kuiper mocked him 38th this week. Miller has him going 49th. His 4.4140 at the combine solidified himself as a top 50 pick, Kuiper said. And then, but Barry Jackson, I don't know if it's what reason, but he compares him to Braxton Berrios. There might be positional overlap with Braxton Berrios. They are similar type receivers. So there you go. But notes that I guess he's a little bit bigger, but that he has a good size. But other than that, he compares him to being kind of the same. And then basically they wrap up saying with 2 guys, one out of Western Kentucky, Milaki Corley as another receiver, and Oregon's Tony Franklin is another receiver mentioned possible fits for the Miami Dolphins. So there you have it, guys. That's some of the local media roundup on what people think the Dolphins should do with the second-round pick. So because a lot of us are focusing on that first-round pick, that was giving the second-round pick a little bit of love this time around. So, and like I say, no matter who they take, no matter what position they take, whoever the Dolphins take, better come in and contribute. I know we throw out the word starter, but if you throw a guy that's like an edge rusher, is he really a starter or does he come? Whoever we draft, they better come in and contribute from day one, make the Dolphins a better football team. That's my only story. For now, the rounds, once you get to the 5th, 6th, and 7th, throw names at the dartboard, throwing up there and seeing what sticks. But in those first and 2 rounds, it can't be a Cam Smith that, he might be good. He might be good this year. No, you need a guy to come in and play his rookie year, a la when we drafted Richmond Webb and Keith Sims. Heck, even Dan Marino back in the day came in after a little while as a rookie and played. And guys like that, just a guy that come in and make an impact. And we've had guys like Jalen Waddle came in and had a reception record for a rookie. So at the time, which I guess has already been broken by this Rams kid. But, it's just still at the time he came in, that's what we need. We need a guy to come in, play right away. No rookie excuse. Oh, no, he's learning. He's cooking slowly in the background. No, we need a guy to come in and play football to help our Miami Dolphins win, guys. None of this developmental crap. None of this, once he's healthy. No, we need a guy come in day one, contribute right away. End of story. That's all. That's how I roll. And like I said, I wouldn't even mind whatever position that goes for any position they draft. They better just come in and play from the get-go, or else it's deemed a failure in my book. OT is very deep this year, way deeper than the top 3. There are so many players I would be happy with at 21. That's it. And that's another thing, guys, that they factor in. Like if the Dolphins think, offensive tackle is a little bit deeper than edge, maybe the Dolphins go or whatever. Because they at 21, if you're down between a good edge and a good tackle in your book, they may go edge because the edge isn't quite as deep as the tackle position, figuring they could probably get a decent tackle or someone along the offensive line at 55. So, they take that. I know we all say, BPA, but sometimes you just got to go with how the board falls to you as a team too. BPA is sexy and nice to talk about. But if you really need a position and the Dolphins really need help at a couple positions, sometimes you got to fit that BPA into what helps your team right now and right away. So that's how I would look at it. But like I say, if the tackle falls and it's down between Letu and Fatnu or whoever, I just wanted to kind of have names that ended, whatever. So you may say, well, we can still get another good offensive lineman at 55, but are we going to get a good edge guy at 55? So those things are taken into account. Same goes for receivers. This is a very deep receiver draft. I know Dolphin fans are saying we need that third receiver. And yes, we probably do need that. Sorry, guys. Once again, I forgot to turn off my phone. Let's see. Hold on. Trying to. Oh, that's my old boss actually calling. My old boss from my job calling, but that's okay. I'll call him back. It's all good. So now I'm wondering if there's any Dolphin news. He normally only calls me when he hears Dolphin news. Do you guys see any Dolphin news breaking? But anyway, can I just focus on you guys when I'm in here? So that's why I love the draft because you really never know. Everyone can sit there and say, oh, this and that. But at the end of the day, no one really knows, other than maybe the first couple picks of the draft, you know. But as the draft starts falling, someone falls that you don't expect to fall. Someone gets drafted way higher than you expect to get drafted. That's why I love the draft. Some team makes a big trade that you weren't anticipating. That's what makes it great entertainment. And that's why the NFL, to me, the NFL draft is like one of the best non-sport events in all of sports, if that makes sense. Like, where someone actually out there competing. The NFL draft to me is like just the king of off-season events of any of the sports. It's so much fun, a lot of drama. Seeing these young men get drafted after all their hard work, a lot of good stories, a lot of good stuff. I don't understand saying BPA because when 21 comes out, I guarantee many of us have a different BPA. Yes, and that goes with the teams too, Scotty. You are 100% right. That's why BPA is really all like because, and let's face it, the team's going to say that's the guy. No matter who they take, every team in the NFL draft are going to say they got their guy. That's the draft lingo. And you know what? We truly won't know for a while whether the team's drafted right or wrong. And they will get instant grades in this day and age. I mean, well, people are getting instant. Ever since I've been watching the draft, ever since Mel Kiper became a thing and all this, teams are getting instant grades. But now with social media, fans, I mean, are chiming in with their instant grades. And the truth of the matter is, we really don't know. We can't even call Cam Smith a bust yet. If he doesn't come out this year, we can call him a bust. I think it's safe to say Channing Tindall, it was a third, and you start saying, well, what rounds can you? But to me, top 3 rounds, you should be. Even top 4, Dolphins have done well in the 4th round. To me, you should draft well in those rounds. As of course, this year we don't have a 3rd or a 4th, but that's for another story and for another day. Hey, Sanity. Yes, it can become exciting. That's why I love it. To me, like I said, it's probably the best off-season event in all of sports. It beats all the other teams' draft. Other sports have followed, I should say. Baseball and hockey and basketball all follow the NFL's lead and saying, "Oh, people love watching this draft stuff," but nothing matches the excitement of the NFL draft. You see, that's the guy we wanted the whole time. Or oh yeah, every team must say it, man. That's it. That's what they say every time. Even if it's like someone that you think is like could have been had in the second round and they dropped in the first round, they're going to tell you that's the guy they wanted. That was it. Doesn't even matter. And then if a team doesn't have a pick, because that's what they were saying about Channing Tindall the year. Oh, that's the guy we wanted all along. Yet but you're just at the mercy when you got a 3rd round pick for someone to fall there. But hey, it is what it is. And that's it, and that's what you're gonna do. And that's what you always have to do as a team. You got to sell up your product, of course. But it is funny that every team on the night of the draft gets their guy, is always the saying. Just think being a Carolina Panther fan, having the worst record in all of football and have to have some other team use that pick right in front of your eyes. That is tough, man. That's tough. Oh no, the Lions. They've done very well. The Lions. I give kudos to them. They've drafted well. They like their Iowa kids or Michigan kids, whatever they do. They're drafting well. They get the job done, and they've gotten the monkey off their back that they've won some playoff games now. And Now it's for our Dolphins to get that monkey off our back so we can advance in the playoff. Heck, man, they were one game away from the Super Bowl, man. They were in their conference championship game. So obviously they're doing something right in Detroit. Dan Campbell, more power to him. Liked him when he was the interim coach here. Liked him when he was an assistant coach here. Happy to see him doing well. Yes, people can question some of the stuff he does on the fourth downs and whatever, but heck, the man got his team to the NFC Championship game. So kudos to him. Kudos to the front office of the Lions. And there's other teams too, man. The 49ers hit a lot. And we know the 49ers, he blew a pick. Most teams that blow a pick like they blew a pick would be set back for years. But here they are making the darn Super Bowl after doing that trade with the Dolphins to move up to take a quarterback that's not on the team already anymore, giving up all those first round picks. So, and teams that normally get it right can get it wrong. But if you normally get it right, you have a little more leadway for the screw ups. That's it. You got to get more right in those early rounds because you're going to miss. Everyone misses. Every draft in the NFL, they're going to miss some people. But as long as you outnumber the goods with the bads, kind of like playing the stock market. You're going to pick some bad stocks, but if the good stocks outdo the bad stocks, you're still ahead at the end of the day. It's kind of how the NFL draft is. So your good has to outdo the bad, or you're cruising for a bruising as far as your record goes on that front. I know, that's normally, I said that too last year, but the Ravens have historically picked people I wanted the Dolphins to get. The Ravens are have their number on my picks. I don't know. Like so many times over the years, there's been Raven players. I'm like, oh, that'd be a great pick. And the Baltimore Ravens on the clock. Don't take them. But hey, it happens. It happens. Miami's made the playoff 2 years in a row. I'm going to try to focus on the positive. I know there's a lot of negative going around. It's been a wild couple of days on Dolphins social media, which is nothing new. Nothing new. It's always been wild on Dolphins. I don't even have to say for the past couple of days. It's been wild on Dolphins social media. Let's see. Yes, Scotty. What I think. Okay, I think I'm caught up on all your guys' comments. But yeah, as far as this year's draft, I'm with all you guys. I think we all agree it's going to either be some combination of edge, receiver, or offensive lineman in those first 2 days. One of them, obviously, unless you trade back, you're not going to get all those positions in the first few rounds of the draft. But I'm looking at you're down to that. I know I hear more and more receiver talk, more and more receiver talk. To me, is it the most critical position for the Dolphins to make a difference next year in the standings? Not necessarily, but if it's like way and above everyone else at your position, that this guy's just so high on the Dolphins board, and the next guy is way, then maybe BPA falls in there, but it's still kind of at a need position too. So then that kind of fits the narrative. But I would believe, and I know we need safety, we need another safety. So, defensive back's not out of the question, but I would think in the first two picks, it's going to be some combination of edge, maybe still defensive tackle, but they've signed a lot of defensive tackles, but I wouldn't rule that out because, none of them are your maybe top flight. A lot of these guys have been cut and released by other teams over the year. And, so obviously they got some flaws in their game. So I wouldn't even rule out defensive tackle. But if I had to bet, I would think maybe edge, offensive lineman, that's generic. It could be a tackle that can maybe play guard for a while, or a guard that can play center if needed, because I do believe Brewer would be our center. But you get my drift. So somewhere along the offensive line, even defensive line, we could just say defensive line, include it all, and then receiver. Somewhere in those, I think those positions will be covered in the first two. At least two of those positions would be two of those spots out of those three I just mentioned are going to be covered in the first 2 days of the draft. Hey, Robert, Trainer, big fins up to you. Oh, hold on, G-Man. You know I won't ever. Oh, here we go. The gang hasn't had a first round pick since he arrived in Miami. He's going to want another dynamic playmaker at 21, not a lineman. You might very, very well be right, G-Man. Sorry I missed that one. But I would get back. Now I see I missed one of Anthony's too. So thank you, G-Man, for pointing that out. Those passed by quick. But yes, you're right. Can McDaniel resist the urge to take a big receiver, fast receiver at number 21? Does Greer have more input? It's gonna be a fun dynamic. Anthony, if you're still in here, sorry I missed your comment too. He goes, honestly, I think most of the tackles out of the top three guys need way too much development. They're not day one starters. Well, Anthony, the Dolphins need some guy that comes in to be a day one starter, whether it's a tackle that can play guard for a couple years, but you better be a day one because I mean, I'm telling you, at 21, you need a starter. If we don't have a starter at 21, to me, something went wrong this year. So that's how I look at it. But I agree, man. To me, it all starts up front. That offensive line, the Dolphins have been working for I don't even know how many administrations, how many coaches slash general. When I say administrations, I mean coaches, general managers, assistant coaches that coach the offensive line, whatever. It seems like we've been saying we need improvement along the offensive line forever. Last year was a little bit better, but then when you hear about the pass rush run rate, we were almost one of the worst teams in allowing pass pressures. So I know these are all new advanced metric stats and this and that, because if you look at sacks, he wasn't that sacked that often, but you can contribute that to Tua getting rid of the ball quick, whatever. So maybe the offensive line wasn't as good as he chalked it up to be. They were saying on the Leroy and Tobin and Leroy show the other day. So, they started getting into all those numbers on the year, saying that, Leroy was saying, yeah, that's just because Tua gets rid of the ball. But, when you're like 31st in patch, obviously we need improvement on the offensive linemen still. We still need edge guys because my worry is Chubb and Phillips, as mentioned, this what means a whole bunch of guys have mentioned, but I'm a little concerned about them returning from injury. Yes, the reports seem to be good. They both are progressing nicely and they should be back at some point, but will they play at the same level that we want them to? That's where I'm a little bit worried on the edge guys. Will they have the same burst, and we will see on that front right there. So that's why the NFL draft is just, it's drama NFL style, man. You don't know what you're gonna get. I mean, you can probably remember, you guys that are old enough, back in the day, the Dolphins signed, they had the number one pick and they took Jake Long, but word came out they had already signed because you were allowed to because you had the first pick. So there's no tampering or anything. It was all legal back in the day. But word leaked out that the Dolphins had already signed Jake Long before the draft. And the NFL kind of frowned upon it. Other teams had done it too, but they kind of frowned upon it because they say, come on, guys, this keeps a mystery to the draft. Don't announce these signings before the NFL draft. So that's why you don't see that, because technically the Bears could already operate and sign whoever they want to. But, they're keeping the suspense, keeping that open, keeping that mystery. Oh, who are they going to take? What guy they're going to take? And I think we all pretty much know they're going QB since they just got rid of their recent first round pick not that long ago. So, and I think we all know who it's going to be, but they still, that's why I say there's always a little bit of drama in the NFL draft. And that's what makes us keep on coming back year after year, and why it becomes a big event and people travel to the draft and they do all kinds of things. It's really insane and from what it used to be. When I first started watching the NFL draft, it was on Tuesday mornings in a place in New York where it was just like a little balcony, and it was normally only Jets or Giant fans that would show up and yell a couple, stuff at the draft and just wait all the time until the New York teams were on the clock. Other than that, it was they when they've been focused on the guys in the balcony. Now it's a big event where thousands of people travel to, take flights to, book hotels, do all of that just to watch an NFL draft. It's become an amazing, crazy, over the top. I mean, even I just liked it when it was just picking players, man. I didn't need all the fluff. Just tell me the players. I don't need bands playing music. I don't need, all these silly promos they do and whatever. Just tell me who the darn pick is and let's get on with it. That's what I like. But hey, it's all good. And 3 days is a bit much. I think they could do it in 2 days. If you want to just do the first day, first round only, fine. Just do the next day. Just wait till the Saturday if you want and knock out all the rest of the rounds. Stretching it out. I understand why they do it because it's that many more eyeballs, all about the dollar. I get it. But man, they used to do 12 rounds in one freaking day. So I think they could do 6 rounds, in at least 2 days. But hey, I get it. I understand. Hey, Raphael Courtbride, big fins up to you. Thank you for coming in. Fins up, thumbs up to you, sir. And guys, there's a few, not as many in YouTube, but there's a few from other. If you guys are watching from anywhere else, Twitter or Facebook, hit those thumbs up on Facebook. But if you're watching on Twitter, roll over to Dolphins Thirsty YouTube channel and nail that like and subscribe button real quick for me. Only takes a minute. It's free. If you have a Gmail account, it means you have a YouTube account. So you can nail that like button for me. So, and it's free and it helps the channel get found. And that's what we're all here to do. Just talk football. I do it for no other reason than just reach out to fellow Dolphin fans and talk Miami Dolphins football with you guys. Anyway, like I said, we're coming close to my 1 hour gap that I always like to do. I'm not like the great Miss Finns who goes on sometimes for 2 hours at a time, guys. Make sure you check her out every morning. I don't know how she does it, but she does it. Always bringing her A game, sometimes for up to 2 hours at a time. Big kudos to Miss Finns on that part because I just get into my hour, my own voice starting to go on me. So again, Jim Jensen was the throwback focus of the day. You guys got his nickname right. No one said what university he went to, but I will keep that out there for a minute more, see if anyone knows what college he went to. I'll give you a hint, maybe. It's a school where my favorite baseball teams play, but it's not a big school that it's not the bigger, well-known school of the ones. That's my hint. So there you go. So if you guys know my favorite baseball team, you know kind of now what city the college is in. But hey, it is what it is. Guys, that's about to wrap it up. I appreciate it. You guys are the best. Dolphins draft, the NFL draft, but for us in this room, most of us care about the aqua and orange. We're 2 weeks away from the Miami Dolphins finally being on the clock in the first round for the first time since it seemed like Abraham Lincoln was in office. We haven't had first round pick. There for a couple of years we were getting spoiled. We had multiple first round picks. Now we've been starved with no first round picks for a while. I'm finally happy we have one. Comes in at 21, which is fine. Should be a good spot in the draft. There should still be some good players available at 21 at positions of need and BPA, whatever term you want to use. There should be a good marriage of the meeting of the needs and BPA on your board that can help our Dolphins become better. And at the end of the day, that's what every NFL team is drafting for, to become better with younger players that you move forward with under better contracts. And that's how that's how you operate, guys. And it's fun. I can't wait, man. Yes, Mr. Courtwright, I agree. Aqua and orange for life. Always my team, no matter which logo that they go with. Of course, I like the older ones better, but no matter what logo's on the helmet for the Dolphins, hey, that's my team. I like my throwback days. Throwback Thursday is my day. That's the day I don't miss. I love my throwback Thursdays. I missed all week this week, but I said I'm not missing Throwback Thursday. Get to talk a little bit NFL draft. Talk about Jim Jensen. Guys, he went to Boston University is where he went, guys. He went to Boston University. He wore number 11, as you can see in the picture. He was a jack of all trades for the Dolphins. He could play quarterback, but he could be receiver. Jim Crash, Jensen Crash is his nickname. He could go down there and make special teams tackles. He was fun. Good days. Caught touchdown passes from Mr. Dan Marino himself. And it was a lot of fun back in the days watching him play. Now we just got to move forward. 2 weeks, guys. 2 weeks. I can't wait, man. 2 weeks. We will know the newest members of the Dolphins. Do we sign? Would you guys say he went to Boston University, Mr. Courtwright? Boston University. But very close there, Mr. Courtwright. Very close. Would you say before the 2 week ends, do the Dolphins sign OBJ or someone to that like, or the draft comes first and they do not sign OBJ? I'm starting to think that the draft's going to come first. Could come. You keep on hearing there's mutual interest or mutual interest, but repeatedly it seems like the Dolphins are not raising their offer. They just put it out there. And that's it. They're playing like old school because a lot of times there's back and forth negotiations. But from what I'm hearing from, and like I say, I have no sources, but from what I'm reading and seeing, the Dolphins have a set offer. No one knows what that set offer is, but there's a set offer, and the Dolphins are said not to be moving off of it as of now. And things could change after the draft if the board, you don't draft a receiver, then you may have to say, well, we got to give them a little more than what we wanted. So maybe both sides are waiting that out. So I would say probably not, but of course I could log off here and be seeing that he signs with the Dolphins. That's why I always throw that disclaimer out there. I really don't know. I know I have no sources, so that's the only thing I really do know. And you guys, hey, Shake coming in late, but late is better than never, as they say. So thank you, Mr. Shake Money, guys. Check him out on the Fins Tailgate. Always bringing good content over there. And on Larry K, I believe, too. Let's see. I would love the Dolphins to sign Calais Campbell. The guy plays D team, putting bodies in both positions. We definitely got a lot of journeyman, that's for sure. Wow, I didn't even know that. Let's see. Wow, I had not heard that, Shake. Shake Money is reporting that OJ Simpson has passed away and he's not teasing, which Shake Money would never do. I did go look it up. And yes, so thank you for bringing the news in. So OJ Simpson has passed away. So great football career, but we know what he's most always be remembered for, but still um, good football player. So Shake, thank you for bringing the news. So I'm sure that will be the news of the day in the football cycles and news cycle. Anyway, guys, big fins up to you. I appreciate all you guys as always. And if you haven't done so already, bop those, like I like to say, throw a Dan Marino laser pass at those thumbs up. It helps and it won't break your laptop, tablet, cell phone, or Walkman, whatever you're listening to me on. You guys rock. That's all that matters. And guys, this is the best logo right there, by the way, if you ever want to know. That's why it's down there under my Throwback Thursday. That's my favorite logo, but we all have ours. So that is it. Guys, thank you again. Draft is getting close. Our Dolphins will be making selections. Thank you so much. Later, guys. Good stuff as always. And for that, I am out of here. Thank you, Shake, for the news update. You rocked. Guys, check him out on the Fins Tailgate. Larry K. wherever you can find shake, you will find good material. Later, guys.
Dolphins thirsty, they never show no mercy. On the field or in the game, Miami knows how to play. Dolphins thirsty, we all get down and dirty. Tell you what you wanna know, it's the Dolphins Show. Quench your thirst for all things Miami Dolphins. They are the football kings, cause they play to win. Come on in and have some fun, whether we have lost or we have won, for all things Miami.